It's hard for me to fathom that because you and I watched Joe Torre play baseball.
Watched him play baseball, watched him perform brilliantly as an all-star. But then when he started his managerial career, and it was in Atlanta, wasn't very good, St. Louis, New York Mets, and then all of a sudden when he came back to the Yankees, things got pretty good for Joe Torre and the organization of what they accomplished, and now he's here with the Dodgers trying to carry that torch even that much farther.
Well, let's take a look at Torre's lineup this afternoon. Very similar to what you've seen the first couple of ball games. The struggling Rafael Furcal will be up top. Matt Kemp, who's swung the bat well against De La Rosa. Andre Ethiers been unconscious in this series. 3 hits in each ball game, including a couple of home runs last night. Manny Ramirez will be in the cleanup spot. Casey Blake. James Loney hit a 3-run shot yesterday. Orlando Hudson slides up to the 7th spot. And the seldom used, but very, very good defensive catcher Brad Ausmus will bat in the 8-hole in front of Vicente Padilla.
As we look at the Fidelity scouting report on Jorge De La Rosa today, 89-96 cut with some sink away from the right-handed hitters. Big sweeping curveball at 79 to 84 miles an hour. You see the changeup, good fade off of that. The hard cut slider down and in. 12-8 overall on the year for De La Rosa. 7th most wins in a single season by a left-hander in a Rocks uniform. 12-8. Francis Holmes at 17-9. And remember a guy named Sean Estes, 15-8, second on that list.
Sean is still in the Dodger organization, I believe, George.
He is in AAA, 3-4 in 13 starts. He's struggled with some injuries this year.
So here's Furcal from the right side against De La Rosa. And the first pitch of the ball game right over the heart of the plate, strike 1. Dale Scott's calling balls and strikes. You look at the numbers on Furcal. Rafael's been scuffling, 1 for his last 14. And on the ground, broken bat, 2-strike count. It's even worse than that. Over his last 72 at bats, 12 for 72. And George, he's not even getting on base. He's got 10 straight ball games without walking.
Well, sometimes just because you're fast doesn't mean you're that good of an leadoff man for a ball club. And I think you realize the on-base percentage, what it is, what it should be. Then to me, it's a surprise because this kid has a lot. I say kid, I mean, he's still very young. A lot of speed, and you can see it up the first baseline. It just doesn't present itself on the base path.
Oh, this is his 10th year already in the big leagues. He's a lifetime 286 hitter. Last year he got off to a fabulous start, then got hurt. He was hitting 357. 2 years ago he hit 270. In 06 he hit an even 300 in 159 ball games. Here's the 1-2 on Furcal, and he started to go and held up, so it's 2-2. And the 2-2 to Furcal, and it's 3-2. Furcal in his matchups with De La Rosa is 2 for 6. Rafael is hitting better right-handed than left-handed. 276 right-handed, 247 from the left side. Payoff pitch. And he missed. Got to throw him a slider. Well, De La Rosa got ahead quickly with 2 strikes, and Furcal draws his first walk in 11 ball games. Seth Smith, Carlos Gonzalez back in there in center field. Brad Hoppin right. Stuart Tulowitzki, Barmas, and Helton around the infield. Torey Alba doing the catching. Now, one thing that has to happen today, or you'd like it to happen, doesn't have to happen, but George, in the last couple of ball games, the Dodgers have been quick starters. 2 runs last night on the Ethier 2-run shot. And you go back to the ball game, the Rockies won, and they gave up a run in the first inning. So you'd like to get out of this thing in a clean fashion, but you have Furcal and his speed at first. And now you're 1-0 on Matt Kemp.
And a lot of the history you have with their ball club, some of the history, like with Casey Blake, who's hit the ball well off of Jorge De La Rosa, a couple of home runs, that's more of an American League number that you stare at. So things have changed, obviously, with De La Rosa. The most wins since June 5th, 12-2. Second on that list, Carpenter, Sabathia, and Wainwright. 3 guys being considered for the National League and American League Cy Young Award winner. Baldo Jimenez at 9-3.
There's a number of guys in that Dodger lineup that have had a lot of success against De La Rosa. But to your point, George, he's a different guy.
Yeah, different guy than what he even was in April. Pitch-wise, the way he attacks hitters, what he does with the hitters.
And that's fouled off. I think for me, one of the things that's been really consistent, and his location was off and up a little bit in his last start. But De La Rosa, I mean, can you remember a time where he didn't bring 94, 95 to the ballpark?
Pretty consistent. Well, the thing about him, he's a max effort guy. So he does it, you know, even when the arm's a little bit tired, he still has a max effort arm speed coming through on his delivery.
Defense set for 2. He had a hustle, though, with Kemp and Furcal, 2 guys that can really run. And this ball's hit a ton on the left. And it's going to get out of here. The Dodgers start quickly again. 3 straight games. They have scored the first inning against the Rockies. And once again, it's a 2-run home run. Matt Kemp with his 19th home run of the year.
Well, let's take a look at the pitch, the location, where maybe Torrealba won it. Was it a mistake, or was it something that Matt Kemp just got a location on a baseball and made him pay for it? It appears they wanted that ball down and away. You could see Torrealba start to slide back to the inside half. And Kemp, very good hitter on the inner half and down. This ball about 20 rows up in the seats in left field.
Now Andre Ethier, who's swinging the bat better than anybody in the Dodger uniform. Take strike 1. The Dodgers now have outscored the opposition in inning number 1, 95-40.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's off the charts amazing. This ball is pulled foul. Now De La Rosa in his last start got the win against the Giants, but he gave up 6 runs in 6 innings, 8 hits. And he also gave up a couple of home runs. He's already given up 1 in this ball game. 19th home run he's allowed this year. Here's the 0-2. 1-2. Ethier with the 2 home runs in the ball game last night. 6 multi-home run games this year. The Dodger club record is 7, set by Adrian Beltre. Swung on a miss.
Very good pitch in on the hands after a hard slider away. Let's take a look at today's Burt Automotive's keys to this ball game. With the Rockies versus the Dodgers. Score early. Todd Helton, unfortunately, the other side has scored very early. The Dodgers with 2 up on the board right now. Second time through with Padilla. You haven't seen him for a while. Released by a ball club, the Texas Rangers. Coming back to it, an arrested bullpen. Thanks large in part last night to the job Rincon did for the Rockies. Retired 12 men in a row. Came in and a big number, Drew, and you know this is a big number with me. He has come in now with 15 men on base. None have scored. Slam the door, give your offense a chance. He's doing just that.
Well, you made your living in the bullpen, and I know that's ordinarily the first number you look at. I know you don't care about ERA because in the bullpen you have 1 bad outing, it blows up your ERA. But when you come in with traffic, do you minimize the damage? Absolutely,
and he did just that and has done that during his time here with the Rockies.
Here's the 1-0 to Manning, and it's fisted right back. It's like in slow motion.
Believe it or not, folks, that's one of the hardest plays for a pitcher to make because the game is so fast. You know, you see balls hit hard, and this ball just cut right in on. It just shatters this bat, smokes it. Look at the dust come off of it. And when it does, as a pitcher, you're waiting and waiting. Where's this ball? When's it going to get here? And it finally arrives, and you're able to get the out.
That may
like playing catch with a 10-year-old there. That's pretty good.
That may have been the softest comeback line drive I've ever seen.
But it's the reaction to the baseball. I mean, it kind of shocks you a little bit.
Yeah. Casey Blake at the plate takes ball 1.
Well, even though the Dodgers have scored 2, De La Rosa's second most run support in baseball. 6.6 runs per start.
Well, you hope that holds true because the Rockies, even prior to last night when they scored 1 run, but even in the walk-off wins or the prior 2 days, they did not do a lot of scoring in the first 6 or 7 innings. Their offense came to life against the bullpens of the Giants and of the Dodgers. 2 balls and a strike. Yesterday, you got to tip your cap. Randy Wolf, who has been hot coming in, stayed hot. He pitched a wonderful game.
Well, this morning I came to the ballpark very early with my son. We had to go down and pay a visit. But when we were coming into the park at 8:15 this morning, Randy Wolf was coming into the park, except he was wringing wet. He'd been out to run on a 2.5-mile run. He was going to the weight room to do his band work, to do the rest of it the day after that start in preparation for the next start. Pretty good veteran guy that's been around a long time, yet still understands the integral parts to be able to make him a productive pitcher.
Well, 33, he's applied that craft for a long period of time and applied it well. Good athlete, hard worker. Right now, he's been their best starter over the last month or so. Here's the 3-2 on Blake. In the air, center field. Gonzalez is there. LA again bounces out on top. They use the long ball as they did last night. Matt Kemp with Furcal at first. It's a long home run to left center field. And the Rockies trailing 2-0 early. Do was bunt, and he was effective doing that as well. But he's back in the starting lineup. Seth Smith will bat in the 2-hole. Hilton 3. Tulowitzki will face Padilla for the first time in his career. He's had a solid homestand. Then Brad Hoppe, Ian Stewart, Clint Barmas, Yorvi Torrealba, and De La Rosa. So a number of left-handed bats against the veteran right-hander, 31-year-old Vicente Padilla from Nicaragua. And that is really mentionable, George, because in the storied history of the Dodgers, and they have a long tradition of employing many Latin American players. They were pioneers down there. They've never had a player from Nicaragua. That's a strike also, so it's 0-2.
Well, he has a great arm. There's no question about that with Padilla. 9 games against the Rockies, 1-1, 509 earned run average. 8-6 with his stay with the Rangers over 18 starts, 492 earned run average. He will hit his spots. Got a veteran catcher behind the plate, Brad Osmus. Getting a daytime start, as a lot of them do.
Carlos has been instrumental in what the Rockies have done since the All-Star break. He's been terrific. Battling with a 2-strike count against Padilla. Manny on the move in left field and make the play. Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on the former Philly and most recently a member of the Texas Rangers.
Well, you saw the fastball early on up to 94 miles an hour. He will sink that away at 94. He can cut the fastball also, knows how to pitch a little bit. Tight slider, change off the fastball. Mentioned those numbers, 8 and 6, 4.92 earned run average for the Texas Rangers.
That'll bring up Seth Smith. Smith will get an opportunity to have 4 ABs in all likelihood today, and he takes ball 1.
It says something to me that the Texas Rangers would release Padilla when they still owed him about $8 or $9 million for next year, and that they are in a position to try to win the wild card in the American League.
And his numbers are not awful. I mean, they're
not in that ballpark.
No, I mean they're not great, but they're not. I mean, he's 8 and 6 with an ERA under 5 in a ballpark that relinquishes, especially George, as you know, in the summer in Arlington, it gives up a lot of home runs.
It gives up a lot of runs, period. I mean, and not just the home runs, but a lot of runs, period. And that's you know, when you have 492 earned run average pitching for Texas.
So the Dodgers taking a flyer on Padilla. Thought for a while the Rockies were going to see the knuckleballer Charlie Hager. He's pitched well in a couple of starts. He's going to open up that series for LA tomorrow in Cincinnati.
Humid, big ballpark, something different.
This is in the air to right. Plenty of room for Andre Ethier. Let's take a look at the Dodgers defensively. They're at the top of the charts in every category: offense, pitching, and defense. They're right near the top. Ramirez, Kemp, and Ethier. Blake, Furcal, Hudson, and Loney. And behind the plate, Brad Ausmus. Do you realize that Brad is on the top 10 list of all-time games caught? That's how long he's been around.
Everyday catcher for what, 15 years? For the Houston Astros, mainly, where he put up most of that.
Helton's got experience against Padilla as you look at Ausmus. He's 4 for 9 against Padilla. One ball and 1 strike. Helton went 0 for 4 yesterday, had his 8-game hitting streak snapped. What's the situation here?
Not sure.
And James Loney and the first base umpire Ron Culpa are looking down the right field line. Somebody flashing. Every once in a while that happens at ballpark. Somebody trying. I mean, you'd assume it wouldn't happen
well,
here.
The other thing,
hitter.
Lights. You know, somebody's got the lights on underneath someplace. A lot of times they complain a lot about that.
Look, he got that from Randy Wolf, huh?
Yeah, broke the ephus out. Didn't even register on the radar gun.
Here's the 1-2. Tried to paint the outside corner at 96. I'm with you, George. 95, 96.
Good arm.
Winning record, good arm. Texas is in position to go to the postseason, and he gets released.
Well, part of it is they said he just hit guys to hit guys. He has hit 8 men this year, and that's not a huge number for me.
Three and 2. And Texas just waived an old friend of ours today, George. Jason Jennings was outrighted.
Well, I've been struggling quite a bit out of the bullpen just of late. It pitched pretty well out of the bullpen area at the start of the year, in the middle of the year, and then struggled lately.
And Todd hits it up the middle. Backhanded play by Hudson. He gives it to Furcal, and that didn't work out.
Furcal wasn't expecting it at all.
No, he wasn't. And I don't, you know, with Todd running, as great a fielder as Orlando Hudson is, I don't know why he didn't wheel and throw.
Well, I'm sure that's the same question he's answering himself right now, only because Padilla, watch it, when the ball's hit and gets by Padilla, you can see Furcal kind of just stop on it, and it's like, oh, what are you doing giving it to me? You know, and by that time, Helton's by the bat. See, look at Furcal. It's like he's almost stopped. He's just waiting on your turn to make the throw to first base and complete the out.
I don't know why he would expect it. So it goes as an infield hit, and it allows Tulowitzki to swing the bat against Padilla. That's up, ball one. Padilla, in his last AAA assignment for the Dodgers down in Albuquerque, went 5 innings. He walked 3, gave up 3 runs, 3 hits. Two and up. You know, this year against the National League, he was 2-0 with an ERA at 2 in interleague starts.
He's won some ball games. I mean, you know, 94 and 85 in his career. Not horrible.
Kidney, that many games you're above 500. That's pretty good. You get paid a lot of money if you've got a record of 94 and 85. Now he's 3-0 on Tulowitzki with Hop on deck. That's in there. Tulowitzki was 2 for 4 last night. He's got a 7-game hitting streak going. He's hitting .329 in the second half. He had .327 in the second half last year. That also catches part of the plate, so it's 3-2. There are those numbers. And they started to come up in June for Tulowitzki. I can hear it already, George. Next March, how are you going to get off to a better start? Because the last 2 years, obviously, he did not have good Aprils and May. Helton off with the pitch.
Well, sometimes there's patterns, too. Look at when he first came to the big league, swinging at everything over his head, nowhere close to it. Wasn't hitting well. Everybody thought, hey, man, he's overmatched. You know, he can't handle pitching at the big league level. All of a sudden, he caught fire, and you go, that's pretty good play. You know, he continued to make the defensive plays that he made, and he makes tremendous amount of adjustments. For me, in his approach at the plate, he's able to handle different guys, and I think that you know, some guys get aggressive. They want to jump out to that huge start of the season.
Here's the 3-2 again, and once again, it's fouled off. 21 pitches into the first inning. The Dodgers up 2-0 on a Matt Kemp home run with Rafael Furcal aboard. That's what stings a little bit, George. Furcal was behind 0-2 to De La Rosa, and then De La Rosa lost him.
Finish off the hitter. Get in that position on him. Took 3 nasty sliders down and in, and Furcal wouldn't offer.
Tulowitzki seeing more pitches. Let's see if that bears fruit here. And it will if it gets down, and it drops in front of Ethier. Helton is out trying to go back to second base. He shut it down, trying to go first to third. Tried to play it safe, and Ethier's throw to Furcal was right near the bag. Oh, he fell. Bad break. Looked like George, you said this during the break, looked like he was running in quicksand for a second.
Yeah, he got right out here. Watch right here. See how, I mean, it's his feet, everything went out from under him. And when it did, Call just came down. I was more worried and concerned about the injury at the end of this play because he landed right up on the shoulder blades of Todd Helton.
And Hop would have come up with 2 men on. Instead, we go to the second inning, 2-0, and James Loney will lead it off against Jorge De La Rosa. Loney 7 for 11 against De La Rosa. That's one of the reasons Jorge doesn't have a good mark against the Dodgers. 0-4. A lot of Dodgers that have, for whatever reason, seen the baseball well against De La Rosa. With those 7 hits, he has a home run and a double. Loney 2 for 4 last night with 3 RBIs. The 3 RBIs last night matched his total for the previous 17 games. And it's 2-0.
You made that number last night. Would you say 37 RBIs you're talking about with, what was it, 27 ball games? Even if you take the 9 away, still at 28 and 27.
Yeah, and what George is referencing, he had a 9 RBI ball game as a rookie a couple seasons back here at Coors Field. So you're right. I mean, he still averaged better than an RBI in every appearance here. And that one is roped, and it is foul. It's such a good example there, George, of we talk about 95, 96. Well, it was 2-0. James Loney sitting on a location and sitting on a fastball. That came in at 96, and it got turned on.
Well, the thing is, you know, you wonder and you start to think, are they seeing the ball out of the hand fresh? Are they be able to locate too much wide of the ball, not enough wide of the ball? Is the hand covering up? Getting a read off the baseball, because you're right. I mean, at 95, 96, regardless of whether it's straight or not, that was still pretty nasty. Well, that tricked everybody, including Dale Scott behind the plate. What happened with this? Maybe low. Thought it caught enough of the plate. I just said he wanted it outside, and he threw it inside. That's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think, though, the reach back may have affected that call because it wasn't low and it didn't look inside.
You still got to watch over the ball. I mean, umpires do. They'll tell you that.
And ball 4. So Loney draws a leadoff walk in the second. And that'll bring up Hudson. Orlando's 2 for 8 in the series. He's 3 for 7 in his matchups with De La Rosa. And now Torrealba is going to bounce out to the mound. De La Rosa behind Hudson 1-0. Jorge trying to find a rhythm. On the ground and off the glove of Stewart, a base hit. So now you have 2 men on, nobody out, and Brad Ausmus coming up. Time to go outside the box. Games caught, Brad Ausmus, 9th in big league history with 1,911 ball games. Yorvi Torrealba is 3rd in Rockies team history in ball games caught. Today his 278, brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now try the mini Buffalo Ranch chicken sandwiches, 3 mini home-style chicken fillets on toasted mini buns. And De La Rosa has a traffic issue here in the second with nobody out. Brad Ausmus at the plate. On deck is Vicente Padilla, so at least you're in the right part of the lineup.
You are in the right part of the lineup. Hopefully get a ground ball, double play.
on this homestand. Coming into the ball game, the Rockies, in 60 innings of baseball, had to use the bullpen in 25 of those innings. Now, you played 2 extra inning games, so that stands to reason you're going to see the bullpen a little bit, but almost half the innings have been eaten up by the pen. That's a strike, 1-1. Swing game, and I think a big game. I think going in, you always want to win every game. That's unreasonable to think you're going to win every game, especially with the Dodgers coming to town. If you could win 2 of 3 and depart for San Francisco down 2, I think you're in a great place.
Well, the weekend's going to be tough. There's no question. When you go against Lincecum at home, then you got to turn around and you have Zito the next day, and then you have Kane the following day before you come home and take on the New York Mets with a day off on Monday. The Rockies 3 up right now. The Giants 6 back. And San Francisco 3 back in the wild card.
San Francisco is a great example, George, of why, to me, there is no such thing as momentum really in baseball. They had to be devastated, losing 3 of 4 the way they lost those 3 ball games, particularly the last one against the Rockies. Everybody wanted to count them out. Giants are done. Put a fork in them. They go home and they win 2 straight tough ball games. Last night, Benji Molina plays a hero. And guess what? Now they're just 3 back. And the Rockies are coming to town. And as you said earlier, they have Lincecum, Zito, and Kane.
Yeah, and you counter that with Ubaldo Marquez coming out as the 1-2 punch. You like that for the Rockies?
You cannot make rash statements or rush to judgment.
Well, every year,
in the length with the length of a baseball season.
Every year somebody gets proven wrong when they say, "Oh, it's done, it's over. They're 7 back, 8 back. They got no shot." Tell that to the
that's foul.
Tell that to the New York Mets 2 years ago when they had a 7-game lead on September the 15th.
I mean, 17 to play, and you're up
7.
And you're up 7. Most of the time, you think, okay,
start giving guys day off. We got this
right.
thing locked up.
Didn't work out that way, did it? Now the Phillies, in their history, know about collapses. The Chicago Cubs know about monumental collapses. That's the beauty of the game.
By the way, Florida's getting beat by the Mets today in the 9th inning, 9-3. We're going to bring that up. Florida Marlins 4.5 back in the wild card.
That's good news. 2-2.
Josh Johnson from the Florida Marlins last night, 13-3 now since he had the Tommy John surgery. 20-5 since he came back in July.
He is going to be prominently mentioned when it comes time for people to cast their Cy Young votes. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ausmus, 2 on, nobody out. 2-0 Dodgers. Swung on and missed. So De La Rosa gets a much needed strikeout. And now he'll face Vicente Padilla.
Got him to chase on a fastball on the Hyundai Cam. You check the location of where they put this ball. They wanted to the outer half. You elevate it a little bit. Got the ball right by Brad Ausmus. So now you got 2 outs. Padilla, more than likely a bunt situation. Put them both into scoring position. And if you're Joe Torre with a 2-run lead, you hope for calls able to come through for you.
Throw to second and diving back in safely is Loney.
Good throw by Torrealba.
Yeah.
Good idea. Why not? 2nd inning, take a little gamble, get a guy leaning too far, take a shot at it. I like it. And the throw right on the money. Look at the huge leap by Loney down there and then a snap throw down. He'll tighten some things up now.
Catchers look for that sort of thing, especially in a bunt situation. Lead runner at second, try maybe get an extra step or so. That's a great bunt. Torrealba's got to hustle. That's a terrific job by Torrealba to get it to Barmes. When he laid that thing down, George, you're thinking, oh no, that's going to turn into a hit.
Well, it sure looked like it, and I think if it would have rolled any farther, and Torrealba quick out of that chute, man. He sprinted after that baseball and then threw a strike down to Clint Barmes.
And explain that the bunt defense, your third baseman's anchored.
Well, he should be, needs to be, because you're going to have to play over at third base. Now, if you got the other one working where he's coming in, you know, and you're giving up that second and third, then it makes it a lot easier on everybody. But your pitcher should take that pie to the third base line. You know, and just not able to get off the mound that time. De La Rosa wasn't, but you have issues with throwing the ball to first base anyway.
Yeah. This is an enormous at-bat early in a game. Hudson at second base runs well. A single makes it 4-0. And this is the guy you want. First base may be open, but you have Matt Kemp on deck. Rafael Furcal's been scuffling. He got ahead of him 0-2 in the first at bat and then lost him. This is an enormous early game at bat.
Well, you talked about Furcal's struggles of getting on base. How about with 2 outs and runners in scoring position? Just a .171 average.
He's going to get out of it. That's a fair ball. Helton will run to the bag. But De La Rosa starts the inning with 2 men on and nobody out, and he works out of it. Brad Hopp to lead it off. 2-0 Dodgers. Time this afternoon with today's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Mark?
Guys, Brad Hopp steps into the box with an average of 300 exactly. And the last time his average was below that mark was 4 months ago on April the 24th. And then when he represented the Rockies in the All-Star game, he was hitting 320. Well, Brad has hit 250 in July, 259 this month in August, and maybe more alarming in the month of August. He has struck out 2 or more times in a game. 12 times. He has 34 strikeouts this month. Compare that to April, 2 or more times in a game that he K, 1 time, and in May only 3 times. He is scuffling a little bit, and hopefully he'll pick it up, but right now he's at an even 300 on the year. Guys?
Well, the right team's in town, the Dodgers, because he always beats up the Dodgers. And I think what you're seeing is with Brad, playing every day, he was so consistent the first half. Been a little bit more of an up and down run in the second half. Probably getting ready to catch fire. He's had some big hits, though, of late. That 2-run home run the other day was enormous against Clayton Kershaw. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Brad. Here's the 2-2 from Padilla. Did he hold up? Yep, 3-2. The Rockies, if you're just joining us, with 2 outs, Helton had an infield hit. Tulowitzki singled. On the single, it was a 3-2 pitch. Helton actually going with the pitch with 2 outs. He took 2 steps around second and slipped and fell, and the throw behind him nailed him. And this is a ground ball to second. Easy play for Hudson, 1 out. When the Rockies score 7 or more runs during a ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1. Great deal. guy you'd like to see catch fire, George. You want to see everybody catch fire, but Ian Stewart. And Stewart's average at 224. And first pitch swing, and he hits it a mile high on the left side. Two are gone, and that'll bring up Clint Barnes. Barnes with 21 home runs. He's two shy of joining Tulowitzki for the club lead. He almost hit one out yesterday. Hit one to the wall and left that Manny caught. That's right down the middle. A fly ball to center field. Now Vicente Padilla works a 1-2-3 second inning. The Dodgers lead it 2-0. Matt Kemp will lead it off against De La Rosa in the third. By the great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. And by your Colorado Hyundai dealers, now at Hyundai Assurance, buy any new Hyundai and get a whole year's worth of gas for $1.49 per gallon. Beautiful Colorado afternoon in the late summer. Rockies will be in the city by the bay over the weekend. They'd like to head west with a win in their pocket. Right now they trail 2-0. Matt Kemp the reason. He had a 2-run home run in the first, and he gets a curveball that is way out of the zone. Kemp hit that a long way. His 19th home run of the year. He's got 80 RBIs now. Second on the club to Ethier, who has 87. And for both Kemp and Ethier, those are career bests in terms of ribbies. This guy's been very steady this year. In the air to center field. He didn't get this one. Gonzalez will track it down.
A little bit of wind going to push the ball around. That one pushed about 25 feet to the right.
Well, a reminder, if you have windshield issues, don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelight.com. That'll bring up Ethier. Ethier struck out in the first inning.
Well, kind of an interesting note given to me by Doug Marino. All 5 Rockies starting pitchers are in the top 23 of ground ball ratio. Cook leads it, of course, and then Marquis right behind him, Ubaldo, then Hamill, and De La Rosa. 1.47 ratio. We'll talk about the Rockies defense, the plays that they make. Well, I think the organization emphasizes that hard sinker to keep the ball down, so when you do happen to get to the big leagues, you're a part of it. It's emphasized here. Get outs, shorten up innings.
Let me ask you a question.
Well, wait a second. I want to give you one more to add to that.
Okay.
65% of ground ball outs when the Rockies are on the mound. That's huge.
And they have the defense in the infield to keep putting outs away, and the range in the infield. Swing pitch is on the corner. It's 1-2. The question I want to ask you is, this Dodger lineup is very formidable, especially if they get Furcal going. Whose lineup do you like better, the Dodgers or the Phillies?
Well, I think the Phillies lineup, even though they struggled at home early, they really excel in that ballpark. So I think their ballpark fits their lineup better than what the Dodger lineup fits Dodger Stadium better. Does that make sense? I mean, you know, their ball club over there, a lot of home run hitters, a lot of guys hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Split finger right out of the hand of De La Rosa. Man, what a great shot this was. Good camera work, good tape work, guys, to bring that. And the ball, kind of a surprise on the Hyundai can, dipped straight down.
Well, in runs scored, Philadelphia is number 1 in the National League. The Rockies are number 2. The Dodgers are number 3. In team batting average, the Dodgers are number 1. This is hard on the ground. Barr missed, knocked it down. He's not going to be able to have a play on Ramirez. That hit the lip as Clint was reaching for it. I'm sure it'll be an infield hit. Casey Blake coming up. Hilton and Ramirez visiting. They're going to call it an error on Barmes. Number 11 on Clint. Some other numbers about the Dodgers offensively. They're way down the list in home runs. In fact, there's only a couple of teams that have hit fewer home runs. The Mets, the Giants. Most important things, runs scored. They're 3rd. Pirates also with fewer home runs. One and 2 on Blake. A stat that I know GMs look at, managers, run differential. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Wins and losses. Who did we outscore you? I don't care if it was 16-15, 16-30, whatever it is.
Dodgers are plus 129, which is number 1 in the National League. Not a surprise. The Phils are next, plus 108, and then the Rockies at plus 81.
Starting pitching, shutting down the opposition, offense scoring runs.
You bet. The Cardinals are coming on. They're plus 66.
Well, they've been coming on ever since they acquired Matt Holliday from the Oakland Athletics. They played much better baseball.
You know, to me, what's interesting is Holliday has been phenomenal. I mean, Matson's coming from Oakland, new lease on life. He's at the top of the charts in terms of batting average, RBIs. Pujols has not. I mean, he's done his thing, but he hasn't been off the charts good since the acquisition of Holliday. But
how about this? Eighth time last night, Pujols has been called out on strikes all year. 2-0 Dodgers.
82, the A's lose to the Brewers, but in that game, Ricky Henderson goes 0 for 1 at the plate. However, he draws 3 walks and he steals 4 bases, and he passes Lou Brock with his 119th steal of that season. He would go on to steal 130 bases in 1982. That is the single season mark, as this is ripped to third and Torrealba is going to be thrown out at first. And just to kind of compare things, back in 82 when he had 130 steals, second in the big leagues to Ricky Henderson, Tim Raines, who had 78 for the Expos that year. Damaso Garcia of the Jays had 54. He was second in the American League, but Henderson stole 130. George, I know you know Lou Brock. He had that record from 74 to 1982. Guys?
Yeah, Lou Brock, what a great teammate that he was. You know, a fun guy to be around. That was my locker mate when I first went to the big leagues. I mean, I was like a church mouse, man. I didn't say anything till he said, "Hey, how you doing, kid?" I mean, it was great to see him and be around him. Actually, going back to Tulsa, Oklahoma on, I think it's September 28th, an off day, to host a Legends of Baseball with Lou Brock and Rich Goose Gossage from here in Colorado Springs and Raleigh Fingers to raise money for youth baseball in Tulsa. We're looking forward and excited about the fact to go back and be a part of all that.
That'll be fun. 1-2, the count on De La Rosa with 1 out against Vicente Padilla, making his Dodger debut. Recently released by the Texas Rangers. And a curveball strikes out De La Rosa. 2 outs. That'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. You're talking about Pujols since the acquisition of Holiday.
Yep.
Hitting .289, 6 home runs, 15 RBIs, which for most players is pretty darn good.
But not for Albert.
But not for Albert. Ball 1 on Gonzalez. Hit the ball in the air down the left field line that Ramirez caught. Strikeout of De La Rosa by Padilla, his first. And this is belted up the middle. That's good to see. I mean, because George, you know, when the adrenaline flows, particularly the way the Rockies are playing, you want to be a part of things. You can say, yeah, you know, I'm swinging the bat, skip, my hand feels good. That told me it does feel pretty good.
Well, absolutely it does. Got a good base hit right back up the middle. Don't watch it. Watch the hands on the contact of it all, and you can see that everything's feeling pretty good. Boy, that ball's squared. You know, you talk about hitting it right where you need to. That was on the sweet part of the bat. Full extension with the hands and turnover.
Also, it's great not only just to see him back out there, but not after an extended layoff, because the timing was excellent before the injury, and you don't want to see that lost. Slow curveball misses to Seth Smith. 2-0 LA. 2-run home run in the first by Matt Kemp. When you think about last night's ball game, 6 runs against Josh Fogg. It's not like Fogg gave up a lot of hits. He gave up the long ball, twice to Ethier and once to Loney. Actually, at one point, they had 3 hits, 3 home runs, and 6 runs. Padilla got him out front with a 67-mile-an-hour curveball. And we point that out because usually when guys throw 90 plus, their curveballs in the upper 70s. So George, he's really taken a lot off his breaking ball.
Backing it off a ton and just flipping it up into the air and letting it try to just drop in the lap of Brad Ausmus.
It is really blowing.
Roger, what happened to your umbrella?
Supposed to work the other way, Roger. Roger, a big fan of Mary Poppins. One and two on Seth Smith with 2 outs.
To expand a little bit, Drew, on what you're talking about, Albert Pujols, the St. Louis Cardinals lead all of the National League in intentional walks with 60. Pujols has been intentionally walked 37. The next closest, 19.
I got to ask you another question. When Bonds was playing, you saw him, he was intentionally walked more than 100 times one year. I mean, anytime he could do any kind of damage, even if it was the 3rd inning, it seemed like every manager passed on him. Pujols is in his lead as a hitter. This ball down the right field line. Back to that subject in a moment. Long run for Ethier. Gonzalez can fly. He's coming to the plate. He'll score easily. Seth Smith to 3rd with an RBI triple. And the Rockies within a run of the Dodgers. Rockies lead the National League in 3 baggers. And Seth Smith with his 4th of the year.
Good fastball down on the inner half of the plate that he just turned on and looked in it. You looked the other day at what he did on that home run ball. The same type of pitch down and in. Gonzalez just about slipped again where Todd Helton was running too. You wonder if that's that soft area out there that maybe had too much water to it, or what is causing that loose surface, because that's very unusual for this surface to have any blemish whatsoever. But it's that same exact spot Helton was in. Yeah, not a good spot to be in if you're Vincent Padilla. Vincent Padilla, 357 with 2 outs. That's Helton's average with runners in scoring position.
2-0.
Well, as soon as Seth Smith got over at 3rd base, I mean, he's turning around. He's going to talk to Richie Dyer, and he's going to point to it right back over here in the umpire, saying, you know, you got to do something with this.
And you know what? This crew, this Browns crew, led by Mark
Best in
Razak,
baseball.
is best in baseball. They'll get that straightened out. 3-0 with Tulowitzki on deck. And Brad Osmus will go and visit with his new teammate. Smith, a 2-out triple, and he's less than 90 feet from tying up this ball game. Rockies with 41 triples. As we said, leading the National League. The Mets are next, then the Diamondbacks. And that bounces up there. So Helton to first, and here comes Tulowitzki, who singled sharply to right after a lengthy at bat in the 1st inning. First walk allowed by Padilla. The outfield very deep. Kemp plays a deep center field anyhow. Ramirez actually somewhat moderate depth. He doesn't move in either direction real well defensively. Outside on Tulowitzki. A great afternoon crowd. Rockies, with today's attendance, have gone over 2 million this year. Well done. It's fouled off. And this club deserves big crowds, Frazier.
They play great baseball, and to think they have 10 more games coming back after a short trip like that with the
The Mets, the Reds, Diamondbacks coming in town, and you figure you're going to draw some big crowds through those 10 days with where they're playing and how they're playing. Pretty sight to see that at Coors Field.
And I guarantee the last couple nights, almost 39,000 last night. If school hadn't started, it would have been 45. Here's the 1-1 to Tulowitzki, first and third, 2 outs. In the air to shallow left. This one could drop. It will. Rockies have tied it up. Help the second. It's a 2-2 ball game.
Now Padilla made the pitch he wanted to make, and then the ball drops out in between Manny Ramirez and Call out at third base to tie this ball game up.
Manny had shortened up a little bit in left field, but as we all know, Manny does not get great reads, great jumps, and he doesn't run real well. And I don't know, you know what, in fairness, there are very few left fielders that will probably get to this baseball.
Maybe Juan Pierre. Somebody with tremendous amount of speed would have got there and been able to make a play on this baseball.
You know, now that I look at it from that angle, I'll tell you, when the Rockies have Fowler and Gonzalez out there, Gonzalez would have caught that standing up. Hop up there with 2 on. And this is slowly hit the second. That'll end the inning, but the Rockies get even with 2 outs. Gonzalez a single, Smith a triple. After a walk to help, Tulowitzki tied it up. Consecutive games without allowing a home run. It's a whole long list of great Dodger pitchers, George.
There is a few, isn't there? Who's the guy that's always out? I'm drawing a blank. Don Newcomb, always around the ballpark.
And this is some video from between innings. Mark Rasmus's crew, as they room the field, working on that troublesome area where Helton slipped and fell, and Gonzalez almost went down.
Smith too.
And then Smith on the triple. Pointed it out to an umpire. Richie Dower is kind of overseeing the whole project because Smith gave him the information as to where exactly it was. James Loney in the 4th inning. He walked against Jorge De La Rosa. New day, 2-2. And the slider for a strike. May have been the best slider he's thrown. Location and late bite. And a 2-strike count on Loney. Product of Houston, Texas. Loney was a tremendous high school pitcher also. 0-2, and this is served to center field. Gonzalez coming, lays out, and he kind of bats the ball toward the infield. Barmes wheels, and Loney's in safely at second. That'll go as a double.
And I think a lot of times, and he may score, but a lot of times in the past, say just at the start of the year with De La Rosa, you see a guy dump a ball into the outfield like this and fall right out in front of the outfield. Rather, Gonzalez, when he made the swipe, did a good job of keeping contact with the baseball. You know, it shot back in front of him. At least it gave opportunity for it to be fielded by Tulowitzki or Barmes. But this is an area where you pick that guy up. And this is where De La Rosa has done such a good job in the past. Has been able to get a couple of punch outs, get a ground ball, make the pitch he needs to make to prevent the run from scoring.
As we said last time this happened, George, Loney walked, Hudson singled. You had 2 on. You said, well, you're in the right part of the lineup because Ausmus traditionally more of a light hitter, great defensive catcher, and then you got the pitcher spot. Hudson trying to poke the ball to the right side to move the runner. 1-1.
Well, if you haven't already bought a season ticket holder, you're not a season ticket holder. The best way to guarantee your opportunity to purchase from 2009 postseason tickets, put a deposit down on a season ticket for next year, 2010. Or purchase the stretch run ticket package. That's the best way to do it. August 31st right now, you can pick up the stretch run package. It has all the remaining games. And it allows you to get postseason privileges. So 303 Rockies, go online to ColoradoRockies.com because it ends on August the 31st. So you got to get busy and get right after it to buy those tickets for the stretch run drive, which gets you some postseason tickets. I should say the opportunity to get postseason tickets.
Two and one on Hudson. Orlando an all-star this year. And this a pop-up, easy play for Barmes if he can fight the sun. He's got it. No advancement, obviously, for James Loney. Now the 8-hole hitter, Brad Ausmus. That's a big pitch right there.
Well, you just eliminate a lot of things. I mean, what Hudson was trying to do, he's trying to poke the line drive down the right field line, hit this ball to the right side. It prevented that one-out runner at third. Because you're going to get basically where you are in the lineup, what you talked about. You got one shot at it with Ausmus because your starting pitcher today, Padilla, just an 0.95 career hitter.
Ausmus struck out swinging his first time up. Have a little catcher's chat. Your Vitorial.
Good, bad, or the ugly, they're having it.
Well, those catchers tend to stick together.
A couple I remember that didn't like a whole lot of each other was Carlton Fisk and Rick Strome weren't the best of friends during the Boston Yankee series.
That was back in the days. None of those guys got along, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, just catchers that didn't particularly want to high-five each other or get something to eat.
Now,
Thurman Munson and Fisk didn't get along very well.
Did you have a good friend on the Red Sox back then?
No. You asked me.
Oh,
no.
You gave me an honest
No,
answer.
I didn't. You know, I just, not really. I mean, it's kind of
center field.
Cardinals and Cubs series. We had a lot of friends there. Anything I played on for the Cardinals before the Cubs.
So Padilla will come up. Now 2 outs and Loney at second. This is what Jim Tracy was talking about, George, with De La Rosa, the maturity. You know, last out he gave up 6 runs. It wasn't pretty, but he got him. He got him through 6 innings. The Rockies were scoring a little bit, so the Rockies were in the game, and obviously Jorge ended up getting the win. Gives up a 2-run home run without recording it out in this game, and you know, if he can make a couple pitches here, he's going to go to the 5th inning. His club's at 2-2. We used to say this a lot about the guy who got released today by Texas, Jason Jennings. He was a master at not caring, you know, not that he's trying to give up runs, not caring that, okay, I've given up 4 or 5, but in 7 innings, and my club is still in the ball game.
Minimize damage, shut down a couple innings, give you a chance to pick away a little bit, do some things. And when you're a starting pitcher the way De La Rosa is and realize you're second in the league in runs support with over 6 runs per ball game, you have a pretty good feeling you're going to chance you're going to win a lot of ball games.
But there were a lot of days Jennings went out, he gave up 2 or 3 early, but he was able to, put the foot down, throw up some zeros. And that's what you hope De La Rosa can keep doing. 1-2 on Padilla. Originally signed by the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 1998. First year the Diamondbacks were playing. Swung on and missed. He didn't get cheated. So a leadoff bloop double for Loney, but he's left at second base. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 2. Stewart, Vargas, and Torrealba. Here comes the Duck again with our Affleck trivia question. Want to know who holds the Dodgers record for consecutive games without allowing a home run? Well, if you think about it, it's got to be a reliever. And if you came up with the left-hander for the Rockies now, Joe Beimel, you would be right. Beimel does not relinquish home runs. 104 ball games in a Dodger uniform between 07 and 08 without giving up a big fly. Our Affleck trivia question. Bottom of the 4th inning. Newly acquired Vicente Padilla out of Nicaragua will face Ian Stewart. He got him to pop up to 3rd. Rockies got 2 runs with 2 outs last inning to tie up the ball game. Stewart takes ball 1. Some of you may have recalled that when Padilla went to the Phillies, it was part of the Curt Schilling trade. They brought Schilling from Philadelphia to the desert. It's a strike, 1-1. Also involved in that trade, Omar Dahl, Nelson Figueroa, and Travis Lee. 2-1. Saying it's going to happen right here, George, but Ian Stewart's due to hit some balls out of the ballpark.
Well, and being a little wide, just watching him swing the bat here, and again, as a pitcher, you look to try to maybe analyze where you can go get him, how you can go get him, and on a 2-1 count, he got a curveball down and then he committed to it, yet it wasn't a strike. And I think that's all about pitch recognition and seeing what the pitch is and where it is and what it is. and to find more of your own strike zone where you're going to try to drive the baseball. This slider, it's pretty good positioning because he threw it right here underneath this kneecap. And then it just drops under the swing of the bat. Stewart backed off velocity, and when you did that kind of placement, you're going to get some swing and misses.
Barmes at the plate. He takes a strike. Since June 7th, only 10 players in the National League have more home runs than Clint's 15. Their names: Mark Reynolds, Albert Pujols, Jason Worth, Prince Fielder, Ryan Howard, Andre Ethier, Derek Lee, Ryan Braun, teammate Troy Tulowitzki. Think of that list. Some of the top sluggers in the National League. Adam Dunn's also on that list. And Clint Barmes. 21 home runs for Barmes. Here's the 1-1. And a base hit. Take a look at our Geico quote of the day as Barmes is aboard with 1 out. Ricky Henderson. We were talking about him earlier with Mark Stat. I'd like to say my favorite hero was Muhammad Ali. He said at one time, "I am the greatest." That is something I always wanted to be. Now that the association has voted me into the Baseball Hall of Fame, my journey as a player is complete. I am now in the class of the greatest players of all time. And at this moment, I am very, very humble. I thought it was a great speech by Ricky Henderson. It probably, George, a little different than many people expected.
I think it surprised a lot of people that Ricky came out in that fashion and did what he did. But to basically say thanks to all of baseball for the recognition and let him into that, I call it the next fraternity, as players will talk an awful lot about us. And I think Drew verified this too. Once you're in that fraternity of players, professional athletes, you're there forever. And whether it's a minor league player, a big league player, you're part of that fraternity. Well, you always dream of getting to that next level or that next club, and that's the Hall of Fame. And to be a part of that, there's no other club to go join when you join the Hall of Fame or voted into the Hall of Fame.
This is to second, and it could be a double play. Great job at second base by Clint Barmes to get the pitcher clear here in the 4th inning. Clint Barmes made sure that De La Rosa hit the way he went into second.
Well, late slide, that's the big key about it. Watch when he goes into this thing. He's going to stay pretty upright. He's digging as fast as he can go. Upright last second and then dive. And I'll be honest with you, I thought it was horrible footwork by Furcal around the bag. He touched the bag. I don't think he anticipated Barmes coming. And instead of jumping with one leg to where he could keep that pressure going to the dip, he jumped with both legs. So he lost all of any kind of momentum to throw the baseball to first.
It's one of those subtle things, George. And instead of having Jorge lead off next inning, you can start fresh. And who knows, Jorge may throw out a hit right now.
Well, but the other side of that is, too, not just what you're talking about the next inning starting fresh. Where does it flip it to in the 7th and 8th inning?
De La Rosa is going to flirt with the base hit.
Flirt with an extra base hit.
Oh, Manny, that thing could have turned into an adventure.
Well, Manny's sitting
inside the park home run at the end of that deal.
Manny's sitting on the left field line. I mean, he is nowhere near his normal position.
George, that was going to go around the horn in that corner.
If you look at where Manny Ramirez is, down the left field line, down in that corner, look at the gap in left center. I mean, he's 20 feet off the line in left field.
Padilla fools him with the curveball. In the inning, there was a base hit, a man left. We go to the 5th inning, 2-2. save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Ooh, the Platte River's running. You're a kayak, George. That's right up your alley.
Well, I haven't for about 4 or 5 years. But I do love to go to the rapids with the family and jump in the rafts and go down. That is a blast.
That is a blast. Yeah, we've done it, George, up on the Arkansas. Chris, my wife's from Salida, and the last time we did it, fortunately she's not a good swimmer but a great swimmer. She went swimming. We had some good rapids, flew out. The Rockies have a new center fielder. It's Eric Young Jr.
Well, you know, when he made that dive a minute ago on that ball out in front of him, when Gonzalez did this, and he kind of sit there for a little while. He got up, kind of shook the hand, and pulled away again. So now you got Eric Jr. in center field, Eric Young in center field. So you keep the speed out front. It's not like he hasn't played there, so he should be fine.
Now Fricall takes a curveball. Now this was prior to the last inning. Keith Duggar talking to Carlos Gonzalez. Ball slowly hit. Bar miss. Nice ball. One out, and here's Gonzalez going down and into the clubhouse with Keith Duggar. So Gonzalez, who was 1 for 2 in the ball game, has been replaced by Eric Young Jr. And he has done a good job. His first couple of ball games, thrown out 3 hits. And we'll see him, George, for the first time against a right-handed pitcher. So we'll see him from the left side of the box, and if he can get on, a much better opportunity to run than the first 2 ball games when he was facing lefties.
Yeah, the first couple of times he got on base, he didn't have a very good experience with left-handers. They both picked him off twice.
Third time up for Matt Kemp. 2-run home run and a fly ball to center field. Rockies have out-hit the Dodgers so far in the game, 6-3. Kemp, big numbers against De La Rosa. Jorge trying to win for the first time in his career against LA. He's 0-4.
Well, you could tell by the contrast of the 0-4 record with an earned run average a little over 7 against the Dodgers. Contained him pretty well today, just 3 hits in the game and 2 runs as he works here in the 5th. So I said a lot of times history will tell you one thing, you know, when you're talking about a veteran team versus a veteran pitcher. But when you get a guy like a De La Rosa that's turned it around the way he has with the number of wins and the dominance that he has.
Now this ball to the gap in right center field, so Kemp continues to swing the bat against De La Rosa. A 1-out double. That'll bring to the plate Andre Ethier. De La Rosa's handled him both times in the game. Struck him out swinging in the first and the third. Got him swinging at a fastball, if memory serves me correctly, the first time, and then a slider his second time.
1 for 9 in his career against Jorge De La Rosa.
That's a strike. Ramirez is on deck. We're locked in a 2-2 ball game, top of 5. He just overwhelmed him with that heater.
Two different locations, on the knees, low and away, then elevated a fastball in the strike zone. At 97 on the radar gun here in the stadium.
He held up. August RBIs, Ryan Howard having an enormous month. Elijah Duke's on that list. Andre Ethier. Here's the 1-2. He's got him again. 2 outs. That's 3 punch outs of the hottest Dodger hitter coming into the ball game. 6 for 8 in the first 2 ball games.
Very good pitch outside corner, a little cut to it. And I don't think the Rockies will pitch to Manny Ramirez, and they won't. They are going to walk him and put him at first base and go after Casey Blake. Interesting, the respect shown to Manny Ramirez, what he does with runners in scoring position, game on a line type situation, drive it in to give his team a lead. With Blake's numbers against De La Rosa in his career, because Casey Blake was 6 for 21 with a couple of home runs coming in and facing De La Rosa. Play the percentages, 17th time Manny Ramirez has been walked intentionally. There's a reason, folks, he has 500 plus home runs and over 1,600 RBIs. He's good, and good in these situations.
We saw it in the 9th inning the other day. By the way, it's the first time this year Ethier has struck out 3 times in a game.
September the 2nd, the New York Mets will be in town, and the first 5,000 through the gates will receive a Jason Marquis t-shirt of the courtesy of FSN Rocky Mountain. So that's pretty cool. The fans have voted. Jason Marquis is the guy. The first 5,000 through the gates, September the 2nd, with the New York Mets in town. Stop by one of your Rockies tickets outlets and pick up tickets for that ball game today.
Now, pitching to Blake is in deference to, even though Blake's had a nice career, it's in deference to the Hall of Fame numbers put up by Manny Ramirez. But over the last few weeks, Blake's been the better hitter.
Reputation precedes you, though.
Yep.
You're just not going to let the guy beat you.
Yep, no question.
One thing about it, when you're pitching to a guy like a Manny Ramirez that has struggled through, say, a couple of weeks or a month, history tells you this is what he does. So, you know, why do you want to give him a chance to repeat history against you to drive in a run?
1-1 count on Blake, hitting .312 since the latter part of July. Here's the 1-1. And it's fouled off 1-2, an advantage. Jorge De La Rosa, who has struck out 6 in the ball game. De La Rosa averages a strikeout per inning pitch. See where Torrealba goes on the 1-2 pitch. Away, and it's fouled off.
Well, the ball he hit out of the ballpark the other night was an inner half fastball, so you try to stay away from, particularly when a guy gets farther along in his career. He's 36 years old. A lot of times they cheat on that fastball inner half very well. So if you make that mistake or have a slider that's bending into a right-hander at 84, 85 miles an hour, it could be a dangerous pitch with dangerous results.
Here's the 1-2 again. Dale Scott studied it. Felt it was a little bit too low.
Yeah, looking at it on the Hyundai cam, let's take a look at this ball. Did it dive to that outside corner? Torrealba laying on the ground trying to keep the ball down in the strike zone. I mean, realistically, he probably hit right where he wanted to hit it.
That was as close as you could throw a pitch and not have it be a strike.
Well, how do you take it? You know, if a hitter, obviously it's such a nasty pitch that you just can't do anything with it, so a lot of times you do take it.
Torrealba's done a really nice job handling De La Rosa. I think, again, starts in the past. It's been a frequent conversation of ours with Jorge out here as he gains more confidence in himself. Where that pitch may have set off 4 or 5 bad pitches because he thought he struck him out. Here's the 2-2, and he overthrows that one. A chance for the runner at third. Now Kemp moves up. Ramirez did move. It's a wild pitch, and it's first and third.
Good job just to keep it where it was. I mean, Manny Ramirez, not great speed. Remember last night on a strikeout, Iannetta threw him out at second base on a double steal. Get the trail runner. Ball shot away. They're going to go down and look at Kemp. Ramirez stayed put at first. So there they bounced towards the third base line by the time he got it. I mean, it's just heads up base running by Kemp, too.
So it's 3-2 on Blake. Ball 4. So now they're loaded up for James Loney. The good news is you go left on left. Loney's walked and hit a kind of a bloop double in front of the diving Carlos Gonzalez, and that's where we think Carlos re-aggravated that hand. He's had to leave the ball game. Eric Young has come in. Well, another one of those situations. You're going to play a ton of these. You're going to play close games. You know you're going to play close games against the Dodgers. And you're going to play more and more high-pressure ball games. As the calendar tells us, there aren't many ball games left. Today, game number 128 out of 162. 34 left at the conclusion of this one. Basically a little more than a month's worth of baseball. And the Rockies 3 out in the West. So Loney will step in. De La Rosa steps on the rubber. Here we go. Bases full of Dodgers. 2-2 in the 5th. 2-2 in the 5th. First delivery misses.
"21 times. That's a lot to come up with the bases loaded. More than any other Dodger this year. He's hit 286. 21 times. Bases loaded. That is a lot. Just tells you those guys in front are doing their job. You have it 6 times. He's been able to do his.
That's in there. 1-1. That fastball, George, 97 miles an hour on the in-house gun.
Well, on the lower half of the strike zone makes it even that much more difficult. Good angles down. Heard Bob Apodaca say that last night to Rincon when he came out of the ball game. Your angle to the plate, the leverage, it was outstanding. And it was on that pitch from De La Rosa.
You don't see it done much. Dale Scott pointing out where the back line of the batter's box was. He wanted to make sure James Loney was in the batter's box. Here's the 1-1.
A lot of times the umpire will measure it with the bat. Some other times they'll just go back to where they see the line was there on the origination side of that thing and then do it from there.
Loney just putting his spikes right back at the same mark. Right on the back line. 2-1. That's in there.
Cano with the New York Yankees has the most at-bats with the bases loaded, 23, then Loney, then Cody Ross with 21.
De La Rosa's allowed lefties to hit just .214 against him this year.
Show a hard slider here, outside corner, but don't keep it flat. Put some tilt to it.
You know, something tells me, George, he's going to throw the heater again.
If he does, keep it on that outer half of the plate and down.
Heater, strike three. De La Rosa fans Loney with the bases loaded. And it remains 2 apiece as we go to the bottom of the 5th.
To do with the D behind me, it stands for Chris Drury, the former Avalanche star, now the captain of the New York Rangers. On Sunday, he will go into the Little League Museum Hall of Excellence. You probably remember Chris Drury pitched Trumbull, Connecticut to the Little League World Series, which is going on now, to the championship in 1989, and the championship game is this Sunday. Also being inducted along with him, Vice President Joe Biden, who played Little League Baseball growing up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he will join Dan Quayle, who also is in the Little League Hall of Fame, if you will. It's got a whole long different name because Dan Quayle played Little League growing up in Indiana. In fact, his glove is on display there. So big day on Sunday for a guy a lot of Colorado fans know, Chris Drury. Through, George?
All right, Mark, thanks very much. 2-strike count on Eric Young Jr. And this ball is pulled foul. He replaced Carlos Gonzalez last half inning defensively. Carlos may have re-aggravated that hand, the left hand, diving for a ball 2 innings ago. Well, we got to check on Vice President Biden's numbers. We're going to send Marino after that. Swung on and missed. Dougie, can you check out, see what Joe Biden hit at Greenridge Little League, what his numbers were when he was 12? Thanks. Get on that? Appreciate it. We'll have those for you in about 30, 45 seconds.
He had 291.
291?
Doug gave it to me already. No home runs, 1 extra base hit. Had 2 stolen bases up.
Seth Smith had a triple to drive in a run in the 3rd inning. This is his 3rd look at Padilla. Joe Bible was the answer to our Affleck trivia question earlier. He's starting to kick dirt around. Another slow hook. That's the first time he's doubled up on it today. 1-1.
A lot of times, guys, and I remember really good fastball hitters, and Smith is one of those. You try to go slow, slower, and slower. Instead of slow, fast, slow, and double up on stuff. Try to keep the foot off because they just don't. It's tough. Want a tough pitch to anticipate, to hit at time. The key to the success of that pitch is keeping the body in the same rhythm and motion when you throw it as you do the fastball. Slow the body down, slow the arm down. Hitters pick that up.
1-2 on Smith with Helton on deck. I've been impressed with Padilla, George. He's made a lot of good pitches. Obviously shown plenty of fastball still. He's hit locations. They're going to go out again. And this ball on the ground is second.
Anytime you sink the ball down in a way and you get an aggressive left-handed hitter, a lot of times they just roll over the top of the baseball, and that's what Smith did there.
Two outs, help with an infield hit and a walk. Padilla at 78 pitches here in the fifth inning. And that's in there. Felt's hit .335 at home. Only 7 players in the league have a better home average than that. A .364 average lifetime in the month of August. Well, the Rockies go quietly in the fifth inning. 1-2-3, despite having the top of the order up there. It's 2-2 as we go to the sixth. The battle for in-state bragging rights between the Buffaloes and the Rams. Our coverage begins at 4:30 right here on FSN Rocky Mountain. Sixth inning, Jorge De La Rosa in a 2-2 ball game will face Orlando Hudson. And that fastball on the outside corner, pitch number 91 for De La Rosa. Great to get him in order here and not have to deal with the top of the lineup.
Quo throwing down in the bullpen for the Dodgers. The left-hander pitched in a ball game the other night.
That's moving his feet.
That's what you want to do. A lot of guys can bend out of the way, roll, take it, get out of the way of everything. De La Rosa, 7 strikeouts, 4 walks. Have come in with his high fastball. Perfect positioning because it's about on the belt area and thigh area that causes you to get everything out of the way. And you'd hope to buy that outer corner, but Orlando Hudson, veteran hitter, pushed it right up the middle.
So leadoff knock for Hudson. And in this ball game, 4 out of the 6 innings, the leadoff man has reached for the Dodgers. De La Rosa has had to deal with traffic. In fact, he has not had a 1-2-3 inning. The closest he came to it was the 3rd. Got the first 2 men, and then Ramirez reached on an error by Clint Barmas. Brad Ausmus a strikeout, a fly ball to center field. Great pitching matchup tomorrow. Lincecum and Jimenez from AT&T Park in San Francisco. Mark Loretta has come out on deck. So Joe Torre has gotten what he wanted out of Padilla. He got 5 innings. And now that changes the at-bat, George, for Ausmus. Now with the position player on deck and not the pitcher, Ausmus is in a sacrifice situation. We just got word on Carlos Gonzalez, and I guess the injury. Here's the bunt. One play for De La Rosa. That's first. A good sacrifice by Ausmus. The injury is not related to where he took the stitch with the knife wound, George. He bruised his left thumb.
Well, to me, I mean, whenever he made that dive in the outfield, that's where. Uh-oh. Well, I saw him bending around there. Torre kind of looking and talking. I guess De La Rosa was just stretching, because then I saw Apodaca come into the picture. I was like, wait a minute. Time to make pitches. Loretta's up. There's nobody up in the Rockies bullpen. You got 2 right-handers coming in a row. Loretta, for their ball club, has been used primarily as a pinch hitter 50 times this year. Pierre 33 times from the left side, but from the right side, Loretta 11 for 50 with 6 RBIs. Most RBIs driven in as a pinch hitter.
Let's show you the dive again by Gonzalez in the 4th on a Loney fly ball.
This watch, left thumb. See, I came down, slammed, and kind of skidded. And watch, as soon as he hits, he pulls this thing back up underneath, up in the hand, and then Keith Duggar, the trainer of the Rockies, on it immediately.
This is a professional hitter, a very good hitter, Mark Loretta. He takes a strike.
Well, and they're bench short. They only got 4 guys, so when it came time to take a shot, they had to take the shot, and that's right now.
Hudson in second, and this is to center field. Young moving over, and Eric Young Jr. makes the catch. 2 outs, and that'll bring up for Col. The reason the bench is short for the Dodgers, to clear room for Vicente Padilla, they had to clear roster space on the 40-man, so they put Jason Schmidt on the 60-day disabled list and had to clear a 25-man roster spot. Tony Abreu was sent down to Albuquerque, so there's only 4 bats on the bench, now only 3 after the fly ball by Loretta.
Well, really, and I look at almost 2. You got to pick your spot to use Martin, because once you do the substitution, now you're down to 2 guys with no catcher. So that, you know, to me, you're down to Castro and Pierre.
For Kyle is 0 for 2 and a walk. That just missed on the inside half. And George, going back to Jason Schmidt, with all of the injuries, and he's worked his tail off trying to get back, and he was back briefly. You wonder if that's the end of the road.
Came back, pitched pretty good for a couple of starts. You know, and then everything blew up again in the shoulder. Shoulders are very difficult to fix on a pitcher. Just a lot more rotations. I mean, it's just very difficult to go in and fix a shoulder. Okay? It just takes guys longer. Now, torn labrum is one thing, but when you know, as guys, you open up. I mean, Jim Tracy was sharing some things in the locker room today, and one of the things he talked about a guy with the Dodgers that they opened his shoulder up, and you know, they just closed it back up and said, you know what, there's so much wrong in there, can't fix it. And he said, just, you know, I'm sorry, there's just not a lot we can do for it. It would not be worth it to the player to try to come back. That's how bad it was.
2-1. That's not what you want to hear in the recovery room.
No, well, and he got to the recovery. I mean, it was pretty ugly when they got in there. Yeah, in the recovery room hearing that, you know, he woke up and go, hey, how'd I do? Well, you did good. Same as you were when you came in, unfortunately. Except you got a couple of zippers there.
Here's the 2-1. Back up the middle, base hit. Hudson's going to score, and the Dodgers have a 3-2 lead. It's the slumping Rafael Furcal coming through for LA.
36th RBI, and the Dodgers doing what the Rockies did to score 2 back in the 3rd, doing it with 2 outs. Fastball center cut right in the middle of the plate. Just caught the backside of the baseball and drove it back up the middle. Didn't try to do anything with it. Didn't try to, you know, pull it, which you hoped he would have. You catch the top side of that baseball, get something on the ground, maybe pull to the left side. Of course, the speed, that leadoff single, and the sacrifice, small baseball, turns into a run for the Dodgers.
De La Rosa has to bear down here. 2 outs. He's got Kemp at the plate. Keep it a 1-run game. Kemp a 2-run home run back in the 1st and an opposite field double. Would you pass? Well, you can't pass on because first base is open. But you got to be careful. You got Ethier on deck, who he's fanned 3 times. And Kemp has hit you very hard. I don't literally mean pass on him, but see if he can get himself out. He did. Young almost committed a sin there. Not a gift for Kyle at 3rd. Fortunately, Kemp didn't move up. First and 3rd, and Ethier at the plate. Let's check today's Quest high-speed pitch. Padilla hit 96, De La Rosa 97. It's brought to you by Quest high-speed internet. Matt Kemp 3 for 4. Seems in each of these ball games, either Kemp or Ethier has just gone off. Matt Daly making his way to the mound.
De La Rosa 6 hitters down in the Rockies lineup.
He's thrown 104 pitches. He likes to throw that slider to lefties, which means if it's in the dirt, Torrealba's got to block it. Fouled off 1-1.
And as you worry sometimes as the pitch count get a little higher on your slider, that elbow, if it drops just an inch, you have a tendency to work around and then it becomes flat versus having that good side and down tilt to it. So you got to be conscious of that as a pitcher and make sure you keep your elbow up behind the ball and through the ball.
He's out in front, 1-2.
Well, 106, what Drew's talked about, 63 strikes, 43 balls. Knows this is a huge pitch right now coming to the plate for Andre Ethier.
Rockies will have the middle of their order, 4, 5, and 6. At the bottom of the 6th, De La Rosa trying to keep it 3-2 LA. Here's the 1-2. And this is a flare to short left, but Smith is there. In the inning, there was a run on 3 hits, and the Dodgers lead it 3-2. Jorge De La Rosa's on the mound. You figure you're going to see some punch-outs. You have seen that today. De La Rosa with 7 of them in 6 innings of work. That's our Frost-Brewed Coors Light Freeze Can. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Dodgers up 3-2. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout from Coors Field. Hung-Chi Kuo will take over for LA. Tulowitzki, Brad Hopp, Ian Stewart, the first 3. Hopefully 3 of many that Kuo will face. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. Kuo pitched on Tuesday night, and the Rockies got a run off in the 8th inning. In fact, the big blow was a Tulowitzki double that drove in a run.
Still a tough guy. 16 2/3, 11 hits given up on the season. He has a tendency to get wild at times. 10 walks, 20 strikeouts. He's given up 2 home runs. He's hit a couple of batters.
So Tulowitzki against Kuo here in the 6th. First pitch misses, ball 1. Kuo with a big live arm.
You look back over the course of the years, the Dodgers have done a nice job on the Pacific Rim, but bringing players over, having success with those, mostly pitchers.
Hudson's not going to be able to get there. It's another soft single for Tulowitzki. They all count. He's 3 for 3.
Take him any way you can get him. Jammed in on the hands, but his strength of Tulowitzki able to dump this ball into the outfield and right field. Lead off man on. Boy, when you're down 1, you get beyond that 5th inning. Look at that, right in on the hands, but Tulowitzki still strong enough with that swing to be able to get this ball into the outfield. But you get a leadoff man on, it just increases the probability of scoring because of what a manager can do as far as hitting runs, stealing a base. I mean, a number of things. Tulowitzki, 15 stolen bases on the year. Left-hander on the mound.
The numbers on Padilla. He goes 5 innings. He allows 2 runs in his Dodger debut on 6 hits, walked 1, struck out 3. He's in line if the ball game stays as it is for the victory. Long way to go, though. We're in the 6th. Brad Hopp with a quality swing. It's 1-1. Lefties against Kuo, hitting a whopping .087. Last year, you could make the argument that he was the top setup man in baseball. He was that effective. I remember a conversation late last year with Mark Sweeney. He's now special assistant coach with the Dodgers. Mark was in uniform last year, and he said, "You know who our MVP is?" He said, "That guy, Hung Chi Kuo."
Really?
That's what he felt.
He didn't say Kemp?
I'm saying last year.
Those guys, yeah.
No. He finished with a 2.14 ERA through 80 innings.
That's nasty. 96-mile-an-hour heater out here on the gun in the stadium. Down in the zone. You better be ready to pull the trigger as a hitter in a hurry. He's a big man, strong.
Two on Hop. Strike three.
Yeah, you see, too, out of a great shot that was just taken, you can see the runner at first base, Tulowitzki, take a step back as soon as he picked the leg up and went to home plate. So it tells you he's having a difficult time reading the ball out of the hand of the plate. Also his direction. Is he coming to pick or is he going to the plate?
Told you earlier, the first inning is a huge inning for the Dodgers. They're plus 55 in run differential. The sixth inning's the Rockies inning. They're also plus 55. That's a big differential. Hopefully it plays out here because the Dodgers got one at the top of the sixth. There goes the runner, and the throw to second is in plenty of time, but the slide by Tulowitzki eluded the tag by Furcal.
Yeah, and I tell you, that's the fastest I've seen Joe Torre move in a long time. He spun off of that deal, and he's going to go out and have a visit right now with Jerry Meals at second base.
Tulo with his 16th stolen base. This all had to do with the slide.
Absolutely did. He slid all the way to the outfield side of the bag. See, look where his foot is. All the way out behind second base when it came in. Tulowitzki slide, tag applied on the back knee, not on the front knee.
Yeah, it's a great call by Jerry Meals. You and I, George, are up here looking. Said ball arrived and beat Tulowitzki to the bag. Generally, 98% of the time, that's an out.
Well, and again, the umpire sticking with the call, not trying to get just because the ball beat him. He let the play continue on and then make the call. He made the right call.
It's an element Tulowitzki's added this year, the stolen base factor. 16 of them. Stewart with an 0-1 count, and it is pulled foul. That's also, Doug just handed me a note, that's also a record for a Rocky shortstop. The previous best, that's usually a shortstop you figure can run. The previous stolen base high for the Rockies by a shortstop, our friend Walt Weiss stole 15 bases back in '95.
Well, I think, too, it's become such a power position, not so much the guys running the bases. Tulowitzki's just a rare breed to have the mix. Power, the ability to steal bases, cover ground.
So Kuo's got the ability to strike people out, especially left-handed bats. Two gone. And that'll bring up a right-handed bat, Clint Barmas. Barmas 1 for 2. He's a right-handed bat, not unlike other righties that loves to see left-handers on the mound.
Morales warming up in the bullpen for the Rockies now, and I think, when you look at that, because of the pitch count with De La Rosa, even though you're not down to where you would want to worry about it, 106 pitches thrown by him in the ball game. Well, Jim Tracy's a most of the time one-inning guy, unless you're forced into long relief like he was last night, a one-inning type manager with his bullpen. So he may bring Morales on to pitch the seventh either way. We're going to have Manny Ramirez, Casey Blake, and James Loney coming up for the Dodgers in the seventh.
See if Barmas can come through here. Ball one. righties hitting .250 against Quo. I told you lefty just .087. That's a strike, 1-1. Base hit in all likelihood would tie it. 3-2 LA. Bottom of the 6th. And it's down the line, foul.
He got him one. Just a little bitty quick on that slider at 87 miles an hour. You know, because the ball's riding in on the right-handed hitter and you go to swing at this when it's a little bit flat, difficult to keep the ball fair. Interesting. I just want to watch and see if Casey Blake tried to tighten that up a little bit at the third base guard, a little bit more off the line. Tighter to the line, I should say. He still stays in that normal position he was in on the previous pitch. That's nasty.
Barnes.
96 down and away on the outside corner.
Yeah.
Normally you might not see a hitter swing at that, but on a 2-pitch count, on a 2-strike count, and with what Dale Scott has done behind the plate as far as calling the corner pitch and down, you almost got to go after it.
Barnes to chase up. And the tying run left at second. Tulowitzki singled. Stole second base. Rockies couldn't move him along. 3-2 Dodgers off to the 7th. Told the best way to save time and money. The Rockies in a stretch where they're playing 17 of 20 at home. The 3 they play on the road coming up this weekend in San Francisco against the Giants. Then Monday is an off day. That will be much needed before the Mets arrive. Rockies on that next homestand will see the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Cincinnati Reds. It's a glorious Thursday afternoon at the ballpark. The Rockies trailing 3-2 in the 7th. Ramirez will lead it off, and it's still Jorge De La Rosa out there despite 107 pitches.
Manny Ramirez, soft liner back to the mound, an error of Clint Barmes, questionable. And then an intentional walk back in the 5th inning. Casey Blake has flown out, grounded out, or struck out, and walked. James Loney has doubled, struck out, and he had walked.
Ball 1 on Ramirez. Rockies have double-barreled action in their bullpen. De La Rosa gave up 2 in the first on a Matt Kemp 2-run home run. Walked to Furcal after being ahead of Rafael, 0-2, and then Kemp hit one out to deep left center. The only other run he gave up last inning for Col with 2 outs, bounced one up the middle. And there's a base hit for Ramirez. Check in quickly with Mark Stout with our great Colorado Payback sideline report.
You know what, Drew, I wanted to get this in this week because Tuesday marked 6 months to the day since Jeff Francis had his shoulder surgery in February, and people have seen him around the ballpark. What he's been doing is every third day he goes to the mound, and today was that day, and he threw 35 pitches off the mound. It is upped by 5 pitches every third day. He throws in between. George, I know you said during this week, during some of the games, that the Instructional League in Arizona begins on September the 20th. He will report there. Now, he and his wife are expecting on October the 5th, as this has popped up here to the right, but he'll go down there to Arizona, and maybe you could explain to people what will happen when he's down there. He says he feels great. Everything is on schedule with his arm.
Well, I think the one thing you got to be very careful with Jeff Francis when he does go down there and get into live competition of actually facing somebody, that you don't go to reach a little, try to get a little bit more, and then all of a sudden have another injury or have something pop up on you that you normally didn't want. You know, you look down at the bullpen, Beimel, Daly, left-right combination for Jim Tracy. But I think that the key to it down there is get on a mound, face some hitters in a batting practice situation, simulated game situation. And that last week, if you have the chance, and again, to get in a couple of games, that's fine. Most of the time, it's rookie through low A ball type players down there. Your face doesn't matter, still a hitter.
James Loney at the plate. There's a strike, a walk, a double, and he was caught looking in the 5th. Fortunately, George, with Manny on first, he is a station-to-station runner, as they say in baseball. It's not too often you're going to see Manny go first to third on a base hit. One and one. Jim Tracy did say before the ball game, there's some speculation with Monday being an off day that the Rockies would skip the number 5 spot or Cook spot. It wasn't the number 5 spot, obviously. Opening day, Aaron Cook was your starter, but skip that spot with the off day. And he said, we don't plan on doing that.
Well, this time of the year, you don't, even with that off day scheduled the way it is.
Vargas catches it and flips to help. Ramirez wandering towards second base. Did not freeze on that line drive. In the 7th inning, the top half is done. So De La Rosa gets the double play. It's a 3-2 ball game. Stretch time at Coors Field. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Dodgers up a run. And Ramon Troncoso, who the Rockies saw on Tuesday in the 10-inning affair. He pitched the 9th inning, his scoreless 9th inning, gave up a base hit to Seth Smith that night. Yorvit Torrealba, and then Garrett Atkins has come out on deck to hit for De La Rosa. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited, local and long distance. Call 800-COMCAST.
This kind of pattern the way Joe Torre likes to do it. To go to the right, left, right, because with the addition of Sherrill, the former closer of the Baltimore Orioles, had 20 saves. Troncoso, 70 and a third innings working out of the bullpen in 58 games. 5 of 6 in save opportunities when Broxton has been down. 2.69 earned run average. Very good arm, good breaking ball.
Yorvit is 0 for 2 in the ball game.
Nice job, too. De La Rosa, what a job. Give it the 1 run and a 6. You understand that, but 3 runs at Coors Field, covering 7 innings over 8 hits. Come on.
George, it's what occurred is what we talked about. 2 batters in, it's 2-0. Kemp hits the 2-run bomb, and you're like, oh man, this doesn't look good. Well, after 7 innings, giving up 3 runs, we compared it to some of the starts Jason Jennings had in the past, where he didn't panic if he gave up early runs. I don't know what Jim Tracy's going to say after the ball game, regardless of the outcome. It was a very, very solid outing against an outstanding offensive club by De La Rosa. This is a right side base hit for Torrealba. Since he returned after his son was kidnapped and safely returned, thank goodness. July 5th was the day, Frazier. He's hitting right at 300.
Well, he's done a nice job as Hynetta has struggled at times to swing the bat. Torrealba has done a pretty good job of handling the bat, not trying to hit the ball out of the park, just getting base hits. Now, Garrett Atkins will not hit. Quintanilla will, to sacrifice Torrealba into scoring position. The thing you got to watch now is to make sure this bunt is good, because defensively, with the speed of Torrealba, it gives you a chance to get him out at second base.
Well, the good news with a right-handed pitcher, Torrealba should be able to get a much better jump than if you had Quo still out there, for instance. Crashing on the right side, the first baseman, Loney. Great high school pitcher, and it's an advantage when you have a left-handed thrower at first base. Bunt plays. That's off the plate, and 1 play for Troncoso. So a good job by Quintanilla. You actually get a break, George, with that ball hitting the plate, because the high hop, you're Troncoso, that wipes out any chance of getting the force at second.
Yeah, very good job of doing that. I'm sure of that. Morales, Betancourt warming up. Sherrill for the Dodgers, and Eric Young will come up on the left side. And one more time, he struck out in his only plate appearance so far in this ball game, back in the 5th.
And again, in the ball game for Carlos Gonzalez, who hurt his thumb trying to make a diving catch in the 4th inning.
Well, the first 10,000 through the gates coming up on a ball game on Monday, September the 7th. You have to be 21 years or older to receive this. It's a tote bag courtesy of Coors. The $49 value packs, they're also available for the game versus the Cincinnati Reds. So call, get a little double fun out of that deal. Purchase a ticket at one of the ticket outlets or go online to ColoradoRockies.com.
So here we go. Eric Young Jr. comeback. This pitch swinging, and he's thrown out by Troncoso. So it'll be left to Mr. Late Night or late afternoon, whatever applies. And Seth Smith will take his turn. The question is, no question here.
Well, I mean,
just looking at the matchup with Troncoso, we had a base hit against him the other day.
Well, Torre and Bob Schaefer, they're talking about it along with Rick Honeycutt. I can't imagine Torre with Sherrill ready to go out and make this switch. So now they're going to make a double switch. Manny Ramirez, I think, will come out of the ball game. Pierre will hit in the 9-hole, and then he'll bring Sherrill in to face Smith.
Torrey's thinking 4 outs with Sherrill.
Castro's coming out. Yeah.
Blake will go out of the ball game.
Well, I tell you, that's a big bat to take out of the ball game.
I mean, what were his options, though, George? If you bring Juan in, you're not going to take Manny out in a 1-run game.
No, well, they did the other night, and they led Juan off, and he got a base hit. Blake's got a big bat, too. 3-2 Dodgers.
Number 1 team Elite Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 or online at safelite.com. There are 2 outs for the Rockies in the 7th inning. They have the tying run at second in Yorvi Torrealba. And Juan Castro is coming at third base. Casey Blake has departed, double switch. So Castro will hit third in the top of the 8th. And George Sherrill, who was picked up right before the trade deadline from the Baltimore Orioles by the Dodgers, the closer for the Orioles, acting in a setup role with LA for Jonathan Broxton. And he will pitch to Seth Smith, who this year is hitting .357 left on left.
He's hitting over 350 against everybody in baseball. This guy just gobbled the ball, and he's in that happy zone after the 7th and beyond. Sherrill has yet to give up an earned run in the National League.
Now would be a nice time for it. 1 ball, no strikes. Smith hitting .343 at home. George talked about 7th inning or later. It's the 7th inning. He's hitting .360.
Well, the difficult part of trying to hit off Sherrill, you just haven't seen him very much. You know, you basically hadn't been around him because he's been over in the American League throwing the baseball. You didn't see him in spring training at all, with Baltimore being in Florida. Left-handers, we mentioned a minute ago, Quo, they were 087. Well, how about on Sherrill, 063.
George, of all the talent the Rockies have offensively, I think in terms of being short to the baseball, quick to the baseball, Smith may be the best.
It's all about the hand-eye coordination, the recognition of the pitch, reacting to the pitch where it's thrown. It's pretty good.
Ball and 2 strikes on Smith. Torrealba began the inning with a single. Quintanilla pinch hit for De La Rosa and sacrificed him to second. Young hit a comebacker, and now here we are, 1-2 on Smith. And he strikes him out. So the Dodgers bullpen has done the job. Quo 3 punch-outs last inning. And Sherrill comes on and gets Seth Smith with a runner in scoring position. 3-2 as we go to the 8th. Johns, Jorge De La Rosa, he gave up 2 runs in the first on a Matt Kemp 2-run shot. But after that, he settled in. He was pretty special. He got a lot of big outs. He ended up striking out 7. He gives up 3 runs in 7 innings. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. And now in the 8th inning, he's going to give way to another lefty, hard-throwing Franklin Morales, who in his last outing, George, hit 98 on the gun a couple of times.
Well, that's just so exciting to watch, too, because everybody's heard about the vast fastball, 94, 96. Nobody's seen 98. 3-0 since he went down to the bullpen. The numbers have been ridiculous of how he has overpowered the opposition, left and right-handed, and the pinpoint control that he's exhibited at times to the outer half of the plate to left-handed bats.
The lefties are hitting 107 against him. Fortunately for Orlando Hudson, he learned to switch hit a long time ago. It'll be the bottom third of the order. Hudson, Osmus, and then Juan Castro. Swung on and missed. That fastball at 94.
There was always concern with Franklin going to the bullpen. Would he be able to rebound, his arm rebound, to the workload of 3, maybe 4 games a week? Well, he's done that. He's proven that. Nice loose arm action. The ability to work on top of the baseball. Working ahead has been the key. Here he is ahead already, 0-2. Hudson hadn't enjoyed his time against Franklin Morales. 1 for 6. He's been hit by a pitch.
Get real late in this ball game, George. The Rockies 6 outs to work with. Broxton's not invincible, but he's not short of invincible. Not too far short of invincible, which means it puts heat on that offense in that 8th inning. Rockies in each of the last 2 innings got a runner to second base. They couldn't click the hit to score the run. Franklin really has adapted to this role coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, you see Torrealba put both hands up, look at him. Now stay back, get on top of this, make the pitch right here.
And he did. See you later. Hudson is gone, 1 out in the 8th inning.
95 after working away out of the strike zone, and then you come back and you paint the inside corner. I mean, right now you see Torrealba like sitting in a rocking chair back there. Just framed, froze, and see you later. Three times this year that Sherrill has gone beyond 1 inning pitched since being acquired back on July 29th. 33,441 at the ballpark.
There's a strike on Osmus, and again the Rockies over 2 million fans now. They need a little more than 15,000 to eclipse the 2 million mark.
For the next home series coming up against the New York Mets, you can come out and it is September the 1st through the 3rd. You can come in and buy a green pack. It's $20 green packs are available for those games online at ColoradoRockies.com. So go to ColoradoRockies.com or one of your ticket outlets and pick up a green pack for the Mets series.
Rockies got their 2 runs back in the 3rd. With 2 outs, Carlos Gonzalez, who was in the game, then singled up the middle. Seth Smith tripled him in, and then after a walk to help, Tulowitzki singled. That's it, though, in terms of offense for the Rockies. And last night, they were held to 1 run by Randy Wolf and the Dodger bullpen. Runs again will be at a premium over the weekend in San Francisco. It's always tough to score there, especially when you're going to see Lincecum, Zito, and Kane.
I think, too, that's when it's difficult to manage in those ball games because you don't know where to let your offense go, see what they could do, hit and run a little bit. But I think you got to add some to it. Fly ball, high ball, that thing's hanging up. Look at the way it grabbed this baseball. Wow, come in and make the play in center field.
Two outs, nobody on. Juan Castro, who just came aboard in a double switch with Casey Blake leaving the ball game, will hit. The Rockies will have Helt, Tulowitzki, and Hop next inning, and it'll be against George Sherrill.
Thought about it. 2 outs, Stewart playing deep. Why not? Nasty stuff out on the mound. Don't feel comfortable taking swings at it. Hey, play the bunt down.
That's a strike, 1-1. Just look at how that Dodger bullpen is comprised right now with the addition of Sherrill. You have Quo, where lefties are hitting 087 coming in, and then you have Sherrill, and lefties are hitting 063 against him.
Well, I think that was one of the main reasons Dan O'Dowd went out and tried to get the left-handers to come here to have the ability to match up left on left at times for the Rockies. And, you know, they needed that down in their bullpen. And if you look down through it, I mean, let's just check the numbers. Left-handers are hitting a buck-7 against Morales, 219 against Byron. Is it 07, 067, and 087? No, but yet it is very, very good job by these two lefties down in the bullpen. And then you can match up with Betancourt, and then you go the other way with Daly at times if you need to. Hergis has pitched well since he's been back. Can't say enough about Rincon last night. Man,
And 4
perfect
top,
inning.
yeah, 4 top shelf innings.
Boy, the ball hit hard the whole time.
2-2. Tip held by Torrealba. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning for Franklin Morales. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies trail it 3-2. Helton will lead it off. Association of Mechanical and Plumbing Contractors. To have your next building or service project done right the first time, visit mpccolorado.org. So here we go, bottom of the 8th inning. George Sherrill against Todd Helton. Todd 1 for 2 and a walk. And he takes strike 1.
Not only does he turn his back basically to the left-handed bat and does it, but the arm doesn't come out of the body line. In other words, it doesn't come out behind where you can pick it up. And it's a very short arm action. So it makes it even that much harder to pick up the slider, to pick up the fastball, the rotation.
Todd faced him last night and hit a ground ball to short. And this ball to center field. Matt Kemp is right there.
Let's take a look at this delivery we're talking about on Mr. Sherrill. So now watch out. I see all the back. Now your hitter's right down here in this area, folks. So watch this rotation all up above. Then the arm action when it comes out of the glove. See how quick and short that is? I mean, it's basically from the belt to the hip, to the shoulder area and into home plate. So that, I mean, it just makes it very impossible to get a good read on the baseball.
Troy Tulowitzki has 5 consecutive hits. Going back to last night's ball game. Ball, 1 strike. The Rockies 2 runs on 8 hits. They have an error in the ball game. Did not factor in the scoring. The Dodgers have 3 runs on 8 hits. And that's a strike as well. Two and two.
When the Rockies come back from San Francisco, they'll face the New York Mets. And, you know, at times when clubs get this far out, a lot of times they pull scouts off the road. They don't do a lot of advance work. But Bob Johnson, who does the advance for the New York Mets, he's here, and he's been here for these 3 games with the Dodgers, and will follow the Rockies over to San Francisco. So there's 6 games look he'll have in advancing in preparation of the Mets taking on the Rockies. So even though the Mets aren't the same ball club, that preparation is still going on every day to try to win those ball games. And, you know, even though they've come out in the paper and say certain guys' jobs are safe and this and that, they still got to have a strong finish. But, you know, sometimes they pull guys off the road. And the Mets haven't done that at all.
Tulowitzki backs out. Well, the Mets obviously had a good day today in South Florida. They beat the Marlins 10-3.
Mets will be traveling to Chicago over the weekend to play the Cubs.
They have their whole set of issues.
I mean, I don't even know who's in the rotation. I mean, you know, Perez is out, Santana's out, Pilfrey will be there. He was in the game last night. Josh Johnson won.
Brought up Lance Broadway today.
That's right.
Outside 3-2. Brad Hopp is next. After Hopp is Ian Stewart. And from Joe Torre's perspective, this sets up really well. He got Sherrill to face Smith to get the final out of the 7th. A lot of left-handed bats. Strike 3 on the outside corner.
Dale Scott's had a few conversations today. One was, if you think back on this, with James Loney with men on base, Tulowitzki trying to work the walk. This ball appeared to be on the outside half of the plate and down. But, you know, the pitch he called before, I mean, that's squared up right to the center. Let's look at it on the overhead side of things. You see why there's an argument. Right here's the ball. I mean, it's that far off, but remember the pitch to James Loney earlier was the same pitch. He's giving off of the plate today more than he has any other time. And Tulowitzki has a right to be disappointed.
Slider misses, ball one on Hop. Brad, 2 ground balls to second, and he was caught looking in the 6th. Two O's in there, 2-1. Street, in case the Rockies tie it up, or obviously take the lead. That's a strike, 2-2. Brad drives it the other way. This will drop in front of Ramirez. That'll get Garrett Atkins to the plate. He will pinch hit for Ian Stewart. The Rockies still have Spilborghs available, and their other catcher, Chris Iannetta. So Atkins will pinch hit for Stewart.
Now Torrey just waiting for him to be announced. He'll go to the bullpen, bring in the right-hander to face him.
Sherrill works it in, and he gives up 1 hit. And they'll ask Broxton to get 4 outs. 3-2 LA, bottom of the 8th. Counters with Jonathan Broxton.
Well, a big right-hander 6 times this year in 09's gone more than an inning.
Fans, feed your Rockies fever at Taco Bell. When the Rockies score 7 or more runs, Taco Bell is the place to be the next day between 4 and 6. You get 4 tacos for $1. Great numbers for Jonathan Broxton. Atkins 3 for 18 against Broxton. Two and 0. Barmas is on deck. For Jim Tracy, he knows he's going to utilize both Atkins and Spilborghs in this ball game. It was a choice of when. Spilborghs is 1 for 3 with a home run against Broxton. And this ball in the air to right field, playable for Ethier. So the Rockies get a hit and leave a man on for the 3rd straight inning. We go to the 9th, 3-2 LA. Three-2 LA, top of the 9th inning. There's Castle Rock. Tom Helmer, what you got cooking after the ball game?
Well, after the ball game, we'll see if the Rockies are in store for another case of the Dodger Blues. They've had their struggles against LA this season. We'll take a look at those numbers. Also, we'll get you updated on Carlos Gonzalez, who sprained his thumb in this game. We'll see how long this may affect the Rockies outfield. And, of course, we'll have a post-game interview for you. It's all coming up right after the game. Drew?
All right, Tom, a couple of changes. Garrett Atkins is in the ball game. Actually, one change for you. Garrett Atkins is in the game at 3rd. That's it, because Franklin Morales is still on the mound.
Yep.
Rafael Furcal. And the top of the order for LA. Furcal had the big hit in this ball game with 2 outs in the 6th inning. And Orlando Hudson at 2nd. Furcal, who's been in a miserable slump, hit a ground ball up the middle to bring Hudson home and break the tie. You know, the Rockies have had a couple of opportunities since that point in time. They have been unable to get the big hit. It's been well pitched on both sides. Vicente Padilla went 5 innings in his Dodger debut. Signed by the Dodgers after being released by the Texas Rangers. He held the Rockies to 2 runs in 5 innings, and the Rockies haven't gotten anything going against the Dodger bullpen. fouled off, and it's 2-2. The Rockies in the 9th inning will have Barmes Torrealba in the pitcher's spot. Spilborghs is available, and Iannetta available. So you know you're going to see Spilborghs. Three and two. Down the right field line, out of play. The Giants in Arizona go tonight. Joe Martinez for the Giants against Yusmeiro Petit for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the Giants have a chance to sweep, and you know they're following this ball game.
Sure they are. Watching it in their locker room right now.
And if they did sweep on the ground, a second, good pickup by Barnes, 1 out. If they did sweep and the Rockies don't come from behind here, there would be just a 2-game separation in the wild card. That's why when people try to dismiss teams after a bad series, and the Rockies had a great series, they came from behind, take 3 or 4 from San Francisco. When there's 30 some odd games to go, just let it play out.
Well, there's a lot of people that get caught up in the emotions of the game, and they're like, you stink, you're done, you can't play the whole thing, get out of here.
They're through.
Right. I mean, you hear a lot of that. And there is a few teams out there you could probably say that about. Kansas City, it was over in July.
Washington, it was over on April 15th.
Who?
Washington.
Oakland.
You know what, though? I mean, we're having fun.
Oh, yeah.
But George, how many people around baseball, how many people who are fans of the game dismissed the Rockies on May 20th?
They did. Absolutely they did. And I think, too, a couple things happened here. I mean, there was so much pressure to fire Clint through the media, the fans, things going on. Nobody deserves people yelling over the top of the dugout, fire Hurl. So, I mean, when that changed over, I think, too, it gave a little breath of fresh air. Jim Tracy stepped in there a little bit, and they started to win, and it was kind of like a new, I don't want to say product, but a new atmosphere that was going on around here, and the players saw it, and people felt it.
1-1 to Kemp, fouled off.
And you start winning baseball games. You know what? People are going to think you're wonderful as long as you start winning baseball games.
Lou Piniella has been grilled the last 24 hours. Comments by Milton Bradley. He doesn't feel liked in Chicago. And do they have good chemistry? Pinella's been asked. He said, this is the best chemistry team I've ever played on. He goes, or managed. He goes, but I played on a lot of teams with the Yankees in the 70s, won a lot of games that had on-field chemistry. That's what you worry about. Winning cures everything. Fly ball deep right field. Hawk will make the catch. 2 outs.
Very good route by Brad Hopp to go back on that baseball, ducked the head, went to the track and caught it.
Well, the first 15,000 through the gates on Saturday, that's September the 5th, will receive a knit hat courtesy of King Soopers. Purchase your tickets to this ball game versus the Diamondbacks at any Rockies ticket outlet, online at coloradorockies.com.
Andre Ethier's 0 for 4 in the ball game. And he's got to face Franklin Morales, who's retired all 5 hitters he's faced. Here's Joe Torre. The Dodgers, one of just 3 National League teams to have a winning record at Coors Field. And you know the Rockies' history. The Dodgers have been their biggest nemesis. Until 2007, they had never finished in front of them in the division. That was the only time they finished in front of them in the division. The Dodgers 65 and 57 at Coors Field. Here's the 0-1, and that is a foul ball. The 2 other teams in the National League with a winning record against the Rockies at Coors Field, the Atlanta Braves are 31 and 29. And the last one surprised me. I knew about the Dodgers, and I remember Atlanta having a lot of success naturally here. I think they had great teams. Arizona's 44 and 43 here.
Played well here.
that's also a lot of that was when you had Randy Johnson, you had Kurt Schilling at the top of your lineup, or your pitching staff. It's you know, and then he changed it over even now when Webb was healthy and Herron's healthy. Those guys, I mean, pretty tough rotation to go face.
Yeah. Don't rest easy on Arizona when they come to town. They're still competing.
Trying to swing the bat well too. Starting to get adjusted. A.J. Hinch. A lot of resentment towards him when he took over. Well, none of them are easy.
In no man's land.
You know, none's easy. And we talked a little bit about this before. I mean, you start to look at the Dodgers finals month of the season. Arizona 3, San Diego they have 4-3. Arizona again, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, San Francisco at home. Then Washington and Pittsburgh and San Diego out on the road. And then they come home to play the Rockies. Not many teams with a lot of winning records they're going to be facing the last month, with the exception of the Rockies and San Francisco.
Here's the 1-2 again, and it's fouled back. Going back to the Giants, George, you know who's been human lately, and it may...
Lincecum.
Well, Lincecum certainly hasn't had a win in his last 5 starts. We'll see it tomorrow night. But Brian Wilson, he had 41 pitches out of the bullpen in that 14-inning affair, 2 2/3. And then he had a real uneven outing his next time out. It's up with Barnes. And Ethier's aboard. Well, that'll bring up Manny Ramirez. Jim Tracy's going to go out. And I think this is conversation mode. Jim does this, and he likes to pull everybody in. In fact, he just pointed to Garrett Atkins. Said, hey, this is just a battery conversation. This is everybody. Let's take a look at that ground ball again.
There it is, just right under the glove very quickly here. You know, something interesting just popped up. Now you can really force the hand, and I know you got a 1-run lead, right? But if you walk Ramirez, you get to Broxton in a 1-run ballgame. So now Broxton has to hit. I mean, I would put Manny Ramirez, I mean, this is my own personal opinion. I'd put Ramirez on, make Broxton go swing the bat.
That's what they're going to do. They've given Clint Barmas an error on that. Wow.
Got a couple of tough errors today.
Got a couple of tough errors today. How was that what the conversation was about?
Well, you know, Joe's not going to take Broxton out of the game.
No.
You know, he's going to go up and swing it. Johnny, I mean, that's a closer. Stole second base. How about that? Huh?
You won't get credit for it.
The only reason I say he might have gotten credit for it, Drew, is because Helton was holding him on at first base. A lot of times it's an indifference if you're playing 10 feet behind him.
They scored it. Defensive indifference. So Jonathan Broxton wandering up to the plate as if to say, what am I doing here? The Rockies are going to make a change.
Broxton 0 for 4. First AB here in the 09 season.
All right, bring Hop out of the ball game and bring in Spilborghs. not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Ryan Spilborghs comes in for Brad Hopp. Spilborghs will hit third next inning. And Rafael Betancourt will be asked to get Jonathan Broxton. He has had tougher assignments. Broxton has not had an at-bat this year. He has 4 career at-bats without a hit.
Well, don't get lazy. You don't want to be the first guy to give one up to him either. Go right at him with your best stuff. Make sure you give him nothing to hit, those strikes. As soon as you start to back off a little bit just because it's Jonathan Broxton, that's when you get into trouble. You end up walking a guy, now you created a monster.
Ethier at second, Ramirez at first. And he takes a big hack and pops it up. Tulowitzki battling wind, settles underneath. So Betancourt gets Broxton on 1 pitch. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies trailing by a run. Barmes to start it off. Another this afternoon against the Dodgers, down 3-2 against one of the game's great closers, Jonathan Broxton. It'll be Clint Barmes, Yorvik Torrealba, and Ryan Spilborghs. Of course, Spilborghs had the enormous hit a couple of days ago, the walk-off grand slam to beat the Giants 6-4 and 14 when the Rockies gave up 3 in the top of the 14.
Well, and you'd like to see Spilborghs. I mean, history, you know, the guy swung the bat, big moment, has been able to rise to the occasion. 1 for 3 against Broxton. That one hit, a home run. Barmes 0 for 5. Torrealba 1 for 9.
Broxton has coughed up 4 saves this year. As good as he is, it's not Eric Gagne from 04.
I haven't seen one since then.
No,
like Gagne in 04.
Yeah, maybe Brad Lidge last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know they were perfect, but what Gagne did in 04, the way he did it too, the total mastery with the 5 different pitches at times, it seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, George, it was cause for celebration if you got a base runner against him.
Lollipop curveball, hard slider, 99-mile-an-hour fastball, good changeup.
1-0 on Barmes. And Barmes lines it to center field, but it stays up. And Matt Kemp makes the catch. You can't get any better wood than that.
Most important out for a reliever in the 9th inning, obviously the first out, prevent the manager from giving a lot of opportunities to be able to go out and get after people. And
Broxton, like a lot of closers, he's at 81% in getting the leadoff man.
Torrealba base hit his last time up. And another base hit. So Torrealba reaches. And that will bring up Spilborghs.
On a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, first pitch thrown to Torrealba. He's able to just drop the head of the bat on it and drive it right back up the middle. This is center cut trying to work ahead. And it actually ran back a little bit to the middle of the plate to it.
George, if Carlos Gonzalez did not get hurt, it may have been a situation where you'd see Aaron Young pinch run.
Probably would be, and right now the Rockies really have nobody on the bench. Spilborgh's in the lineup, so there's nobody left to pinch run unless you went to Jason Marquis.
One on and one out. Here's Spilborghs. Bounce over the bounce slowly, and the tag is not good. Everybody's safe. Everybody's safe. Great slide by Torrealba. He got underneath the tag of Furcal. And I'll tell you what this almost guarantees, George, that Seth Smith will hit.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the only thing keeping you from having that happen is a double play ball hit somebody right at it. Over the top of the mound for call. Why didn't he get the out? He told the first base to get one out. 5 blown saves for Broxton. See, I mean, that's just a great slide by Torrealba to bend the back and the head away from the tag and avoid it. Now the youngster, it falls on the shoulders of Eric Young Jr. Speed at the plate. There's no doubt about that part of it. And speed at first base. So to turn the double play would be difficult.
Seth Smith is on deck. But this is a kid that has worked and worked and worked and made himself a top flight prospect. He's in the 3rd game of his big league career against Jonathan Broxton. Heard about him, seen him on TV, now he's seeing him in person. And on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, the check swing foul ball, it's 0-1.
By the way, Smith and Broxton have matched up only one time. He's 0 for 1 against Broxton.
Torrealba at second. Good arm in center, good arm in right. Not so good in left. Oh,
92-mile-an-hour slider.
Again, Eric Young in the ball game from the 5th inning on, after Carlos Gonzalez bruised his thumb trying to make a diving catch the previous inning.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and see if Broxton goes back to that hard slider, if he goes with a fastball away. Slider in, almost got it. That one was at 90, but it had more tilt to it. Just barely missing the thigh, then the knee. A very kill.
When a guy throws this hard, you can't sit on anything but a fastball when you got 2 strikes.
A lot of shadows you're dealing with, too, with that light tower hanging right over the top of home plate.
2-2. That hit triple digits, 100 on that fastball. 2-2. A great fastball hitter on deck in Seth Smith. Tying run at second, the winning run at first. goes down swinging. There are 2 outs. That fastball also at 100.
Yeah, don't feel bad, EY. I mean, that's going to happen. When a guy throwing 100 miles an hour and he has control of that 100 miles an hour, you're not the first to make a right turn. And you're not going to be the last. It's a very difficult pitch to do anything with. Outside corner. And again, Drew, I mean, I just mentioned that light tower shadow over the plate. And that's worse than having a complete dark area because it's light, dark because of the holes in the light towers above. That's the advantage to a pitcher right now when he has that situation, when he's out in the sunlight coming into the advantage of coming across those shaded areas.
Not a good time of day to hit. Seth Smith, a triple to score a run back in the third. He's 1 for 4. With a guy like Broxton, it kind of eliminates the thought process. You don't have to think sloppy curveball like with Padilla.
It's all coming hard. Showing a 99 to 100 mile an hour fastball. He's showing that hard slider, 90-92.
And one slider, and it's 0-1. Seth Smith, who's been as good as anybody in the game late in ball games this year. 2 runners on. 3-2 LA. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Great crowd, and they haven't left. That's the mark of fans supporting that home team that they know is in a pennant drive. They're on their feet. Slider's so devastating because of the velocity of it at 91 miles an hour. You know, that's the major league average fastball. It appears to be right on the knees. Remember a pitch that Seth hit well in 2 at-bats, and that thing dropped almost 2 feet straight down.
One ball and 2 strikes. Not this time. Jonathan Broxton survives the 9th inning. The Rockies leave 2 on, and the Dodgers take 2 of 3 at Coors Field, and they continue their 2009 mastery of the Rockies. They are now